Hello my beautiful friends, it's Amanda here, and today we're talking about the new shadows that are launching from Clionadh Cosmetics. They are doing a massive shade extension to their much loved and always sold out stained glass collection. I'm going to share a bunch of info about that, and I also have a few of the shadows here. Clionadh was kind enough to send over 10 of their new shades in a bunch of different finishes so that I could share them with you. I'm going to be doing swatches. I'm going to show you the shadows and the swatches in a whole bunch of different lighting situations because these are very reflective, duochrome, multi-chrome type of shades. So seeing them in a lot of different lighting situations can really show you how dynamic these shadows are. I'm also going to show you 2 different eye looks. That way you can see a bunch of these shades in action, how I like to use them. Sometimes I think these very shimmery shadows, especially the more bold colors, can seem a little bit intimidating. So I'm going to show you how I wear them. I have tons of info to share with you, so let's get into it. Here's a list. These are just from the Clionadh Instagram, but I wanted to include them in this video so that you could have a more comprehensive look at this entire release because I only have 10 shades, but you can see here there's well over 50 different shadows. Here are all the different prices. They have the finishes listed here. There's a bunch of bundles that have a little bit of a discount if you buy certain bundles. So I wanted to make sure that I included this information in the video. That way you can get a complete look at this collection overall without just only seeing the 10 shadows that I have. And the Instagram as well as the website for the Clionadh official pages have tons and tons of swatches on all different skin tones. They have close-ups, they have these really nice arm swatches done by a bunch of different creators. They have a lot of swatches, so I'm going to give you a bunch of different types of swatches with the shades I have, but they do provide tons of information. So make sure you check out their Instagram and their website as well. That way you can get a really comprehensive look at a lot of these shades. And, you know, photos are a little bit different than video, but it's nice to be able to see them on a lot of different skin tones. So that info is available to you as well. Now let's take a close-up look at these 10 shadows that I have here. I want to show you the shade in the pan as well as swatched on my arm, because some of these shadows can look quite different in a bunch of different situations. Before we dig into the individual shades, I just want to show you these 10 all together. And here they're in front of the camera, in front of a ring light. And I also have overhead lighting. I have pretty bright overhead lighting in my office as well. So that's what you're seeing here. It's bright overhead lighting and then a really bright fluorescent ring light. Next, I'm going to show you what these shadows look like with just the overhead lighting. So this is with the ring light off. This is just normal, well, pretty bright, but just normal indoor lighting. Now, I'm going to show you these shadows in indirect lighting. So I'm going to turn off the ring light and the overhead light so it's really dark in here. And then I'm going to shine my phone flashlight from different angles. That way you can see how these react to different indirect light. And you can see from just these different lighting situations that I'm creating here in front of the camera, these shadows are very different, very sparkly, very shifty, and they all do react a little bit differently to all of these different types of light. Now, I do want to break these down one by one, so I'm going to show you side by side what each individual shade looks like in front of the camera that's with the ring light, and then the other side of the screen will show you the exact same shadow in just sunlight. So I have like a white background behind, but there's no overhead lighting, there's no ring light, there's no camera lighting, it's just sunlight So you can see these shadows in a lot of different ways. I'm also live swatching these for you. First is just the plain old swatch right on to my skin, no primer or anything. And then a second swatch of the same shadow over a tacky white base. The white base that I'm using for these swatches is the NYX Jumbo Pencil in the shade Milk. I wanted to do over a black tacky base as well, but I cannot for the life of me find the black version of this NYX pencil. I just don't know where it is since I moved. I can't quite get my hands on it. But I did want to show you at least the shadow over a white base because as you can see, it really transforms the color. Not only do these shadows look very, very different based on what kind of lighting situation they're in, but they also can look really different depending on how you apply them, what kind of base you put underneath, what kind of primer you use. If you put a color underneath, if you use this as a topper, if you apply it with a damp brush, there are just so many different ways to get these different shades and shifts to react. I could have just gone on and on swatching these in different lighting, with different bases, with different brushes, and you know, I probably could still be swatching right now and still be showing how different these shadows look. But in the interest of actually finishing this video and getting it out to you, I wanted to try my best to pack a lot of info in here, but I didn't want to go too crazy and make it maybe so overwhelming that it was hard to digest or hard for me to actually finish filming and editing. So keep in mind you can do things like using a black base instead of a white base, using a dampened brush, or even mixing these shades together. There's so much that these really shifty, really dynamic, interesting shadows can do. This is the last round of live swatches that I'm doing for you with just the bare skin swatch and then the white base swatch. And then I am going to show you just a couple of clips that I filmed in just the sunlight, just the shadows straight onto my skin. So these are not damp swatched. There's no base, no primer or anything. These swatches that you're looking at now are just sunlight, no overhead lighting, no indirect or ring lighting, just the shades swiped onto my skin and shown in the sunlight. I did get a little bit crazy with this super, super close up, but I wanted you to see the textures, the shifts. I really could swatch these all day in a million different ways and never get tired of looking at these sparkles. Now I'm going to show you a couple of really quick, easy tutorials. Two very different eye looks. I want you to see some of these shades in action and I'll give you all my thoughts along the way. The number one thing that comes up whenever I talk about shadows like this, not necessarily just from Clionadh, but things that are made with really expensive materials like multi-chromes, duochromes. These are handmade. This is an independent brand. And just based on the way that this brand moves, it seems to me like they're definitely interested in paying the people that work for them a decent wage. So I like the idea of a very high quality product made in a hopefully very ethical, very controlled environment. I don't mind paying a little bit more knowing that I'm paying for a product that is going to perform well, that supports a business that is, you know, aligned for me. I know not everybody feels the same way or has the same set of priorities, and that is absolutely fine. If you're in that camp of this isn't worth the price, then I'm not going to tell you that it is, because for you, maybe it isn't. For me, personally, I do think that these are incredibly high quality, incredibly special, incredibly well-made products. Now, all that being said, I don't necessarily think that it makes sense to have 100 different duochrome or multi-chrome eyeshadows. I think that it makes more sense to have a nice, small, curated collection with a handful of really special standout shades that you love, you wear often, and have that value in your collection because you reach for them, you use them, you love them, they're incorporated all the time. So you have that use value. So my recommendation is to really do your research, look at a lot of swatches, a lot of videos, curate that list of special shadows that are going to be your everyday. You love to wear them, you're using them all the way down to the pan, and it's going to be worth it. If you feel great and you have fun with it, then that's the thing that really makes it worth it or not to you in the end, at least in my opinion. All in all, I'm a big fan of Clionadh shadows. They are quite expensive, so it's kind of up to you whether you think it's worth it or not. If you're going to get a lot of use value out of them, then, you know, maybe that higher price tag does feel worth it to you. Other people may look at the Clionadh shadows and see $18, $20 a shadow and just be absolutely horrified and would never ever in their lives spend that much on a single eyeshadow. Both are perfectly valid. That's why I kind of have a hard time saying, is it worth it or not? Personally, I think these are beautiful, dynamic, interesting. So to me, it's worth it. To somebody else, it may not be. It's just up to your personal preference, your budget, and what your tolerance for the price of a single shadow really is. Now's the time when I want to hear what you think about these new eyeshadows. Are you interested? Have you already added them to your wish list? Have you been a Clionadh fan for a long time? Is this your first time hearing about them? I always love to hear what you think about things too, so make sure you leave all your thoughts down in the comments below. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye! I wanted to show you, I want some potato chips. I want some jalapeno chips. Spicy, something a little spicy. I've realized that I'm definitely more of a savory girl. Like, I reach for salty snacks more than sweet snacks. Don't get me wrong, I love a dessert. I love a little sweet moment, but I'm more of a salty, spicy, savory type of girl myself. However, I will snack on just about anything. I love snacks. I got distracted. I don't even have food in the room. I just got distracted thinking about food. Great. Excuse me while I will be wearing this and only this eyeshadow exclusively for the rest of the week. Thank you. When I tell you I have already ordered a bunch of fall and Halloween stuff, I'm ready. Like, I'm over it. I'm over summer. I'm over August. Just no. Just no. That's all I have to say is no. Absolutely not. I'm ready for pumpkins, leaves, sweaters. I'm ready to not feel like I am absolutely melting and disintegrating every time I just open the door to check the mail. Please, please, I'm gonna use this lip color to will fall into existence. Alright, that's it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out, and I will see you real soon because I got a bunch more cool videos coming up. Hopefully. I mean, the videos will come up, just hopefully they're cool. You never know. Okay, that's about it. Time for snacks. See you later. Love your face. Bye. Bye-bye.